Hi, you guys. Welcome back. My name is Carrie Penny. I am the Happy Crafty Homemaker, and today we're going to do Q3 goal check-ins. So, just a quick reminder, I don't set goals as a must be done. This is a would like to do reminders for the course of the year, not a hard and fast we will do. So these are kind of fun, a little lighthearted. Yeah, there's a little disappointment sometimes when you don't meet the goals when I don't meet the goals I set, but it isn't the end of the world. Things change, life gets in the way. Like I've said for quite a while now, life should be life, and sometimes it's a little hard to keep up. So let's see how well I'm doing so far with my very adventurous goals for 2025. If you have missed any of my previous goal videos since I converted to using the notebook, the tutorial for covering the notebook is from May Made It. This year, well, 2014, 2015's notebook here was covered using an old recollections pad, paper pad that I had that was a llama theme. I did put in different sections here with pockets, inserts with different types of goals. I write down my projects as I start them, and I also have a finished, not finished list. So if you want a more thorough walkthrough of how I set up this journal in 2014, I will try to remember to link that in the description box down below, or you can just go to 2014's first goal video. So let's crack on here, shall we? So crafty goals in the middle section here on its own little flipper. So I did not go through and highlight everything that I am now caught up on. I think there was only one I was going to mark off anyway, but we did already have one that we marked off, which was to make a sweater. So I did the Sweet Dreams cardigan during the Spook Your Spring Make Along, the Freddy Krueger cardigan. And I also finished something else at the beginning of the year. So I think we're actually up to 2 sweaters done. I have like another 2 cast on right now. I frogged one already that I had cast on. So we'll just go down the list of 2025's goals, and we'll also check in a couple other spots in my notebook of things that I am checking in with. Goal number 1 was to spend 3 pounds of fiber. I don't know why I wrote down 3 pounds at a baby bit, because that is wrong. I have spun 100 grams of turquoise and black, and I have spun 12 ounces of purple and like 5 ounces of a black. So we're in the like halfway zone. Once I get the Witchy Poo yarn from May finished and plied, that'll be 24 ounces. So 24 ounces plus the 3 ounces is what I'll end up with. 100 pounds of FOs. So yarny FOs, I have 16,591 grams, which is 36.6 pounds. And non-yarny FOs, I have 3,500 grams, which is 7.7 pounds, giving us 20,091 grams, which is 44.3 pounds. So 3 months to do more than 50 pounds probably won't happen. We will have like another 3,000 grams in Christmas cards, another like maybe 1,500 in the Thanksgiving cards. And by the time we're done with the Project Christmas blanket, we will probably end up around 75 pounds. So not horribly off. I knew we were kind of reaching for 100 grams or 100 pounds. Normally, like consistently, I can hit 75. I was trying for a stretch goal of 100. Then I decided Project Christmas blanket was going to be a thing, and that sent me off on a whole different tangent from what I had planned on doing this year. And we still have a lot to do on Project Christmas blanket. So I don't know if I'm going to have time to like crank out the donations I was hoping to crank out this year. So quickly in one group, 50 donated hats and scarves, 50 donated baby hats, 5 donated blankets, and 5 donated shawls. So I have not dropped any donations this year. I do have, I think, 5 shawls in the box to donate. I have 2 blankets ready to donate, and maybe like 10 hat and scarf sets and maybe like 10 baby hats. So not doing great on the donation items this year. Once again, Project Christmas Blanket has kind of absorbed a lot of my time. Finishing 10 blankets. So far, I have 4 out of 10 complete, 1 donation, 3 Project Christmas blankets. Goal number 8 was making 400 cards. Right now, I have finished 104 cards. So I'm tracking to have like 130-ish Christmas cards and another like 75 Thanksgiving cards. And then I did have the set that I had just, kind of taking a break from working on Halloween cards. I cut up a bunch to do some A4 size cards, I think they are. So I don't know how many that's going to end up with. A lot of those are just going to be like some quickie note cards. I'm not going to do a ton of like decoration and stuff on those. But that took up like an entire 12 by 12 pad. So it was a significant amount. Just we're in the halfway stage of that. Finishing my holiday cards will be more important, especially since I got none of them done last year for some reason. Keeping up with my own make-along. So I have not done as well as I wanted to do with this goal. Once again, Project Christmas Blanket. I'm going to blame a lot of stuff on that, I know, but it has kind of consumed most of my crafting time. So there is that. But I have done something. I've worked on something. I just haven't finished things for my own make-along so far this year. Low buy with a starting budget of $200. So I'm actually doing pretty well on the low buy. I do not count my Southern Comfort Fiber Market purchase for that. That's more like Troy sends me off on a birthday trip to go buy yarn. And that's a whole different thing. So that normally doesn't count to my budget. As far as just picking up yarn at will for this quarter, I really didn't buy anything for myself. I did purchase a couple of things for review, which I have not done yet. And I may be running out of time to get those up in a timely fashion. But right now we're sitting at a current goal, gaining $1 for every 100 grams out. $354.09. So I'm actually doing really well on the not buying. I also did not count Project Christmas Blanket yarn towards that. So when I did that Hirschner's haul, none of that, plus the joining yarn that I purchased for the donation blankets, none of that counted against this because those were things I needed to complete task. So I'm going to have to bend the rules. Now, what I will probably do at the end of Project Christmas Blanket, I have 2 more blankets left to start with the Hirschner's yarn or yarn that I purchased specifically for these Christmas blankets. At the end, I will take tally of what I overbought and probably count that against the low buy for this year. As far as the paper buying low buy, I've not bought any paper pads. I have gotten some free with purchase, but I have not been adding to my paper stash. I still have more than enough to do as many cards as I can. Finish and Frog, all of the pre-2025 projects. So I did not do good for the first half of the year on this. I was not holding myself accountable by sharing with you guys what I was doing. So that kind of fell by the wayside. And then I delayed too much with Project Christmas Blanket and found myself in the position where that's kind of all I'm working on right now. I have completed 9 of the projects, I believe. Yeah, 9 out of 25. 1 is actively in progress. There are 3 or 4 that I'm just going to roll into next year. There's 1 or 2 I'm still debating on frogging. So we'll see how this goes. One of the Project Christmas blankets is still on this list. That's one I'm actively working on. That'll take us to 10 out of 25 done this year, which I think that's actually really good. Now, we won't talk how many right now. I have UFOs, languishing WIPs from 2025, though, that will be added to the list. That's a different story. 6 pairs of striped socks. So far, I believe I have completed 6 pairs of striped socks. So 50% of that goal. I will have 2 more by the end of the year, which are the Christmas socks that I'm working on. So that'll be 8 out of 12. I will call that a very successful thing because I did go off on the rails and knit 2 adult men's size socks that were fairly large pairs of socks. Finish 5 12 by 12 paper pads, 5 6 by 6 paper pads. I have done 2 12 by 12, and I'm going to say, I'm going to call my 8 by 8 6 by 6s, which would mean that that's 4 out of 5 that I have completed here. So really good with the 6 by 6 paper pads this year. I had the goal of finishing off 5 rolls of washi. So far, I have finished off, I believe it was 13, but apparently I forgot to write it down on my big list. 22. 22 rolls of washi I've finished off this year. So blew that goal out of the water, doing really well with that one. Used 20 hanks / 200 grams of hank skeins, opened and made a project out of it. In the fingering weight, so far I've done 15. I've worked into 15 hanks of fingering weight yarn this year. So doing really well on that one. Make 1 sweater. I've finished that. Make family blankets. So I've completed 3 out of 10. 5 are in progress. 2 still need to be started. So huge progress. 1 will take me probably 2 days to finish. 1 will take me probably the rest of this week to finish. So those, and another one I may actually be able to finish in the next week. So we're getting really close to some of those being done, and I'm very excited about that. Number 19 was learn a new technique, which I did actually do, which was building quilt blocks out of granny squares. So I designed an entire quilt gan for my youngest granddaughter. I didn't really think of that as learning a new technique, but really a lot of the things I did, including doing the half granny square, those were all new techniques to me. So I am going to go ahead and count that as a goal completed. So right now, out of 19 goals, I've only completed 3. So a little underwhelming there, but it's okay. It's not the end of the world. It's fine. So further back here, I have a tally of finished items as well as supplies that I've been using up. So we'll kind of talk about some of these real quick. So far this year, I've made 8 shawls. I've made 7 hats, 5 scarves. So that would answer the question. We have 5 sets that are ish ready to go. I've completed 4 blankets, 2 sweaters, 104 cards, and 7 pairs of socks. 6 of those were self-striping. I did not go through my yarn ball band basket downstairs. I will do that at the end of the year, and we'll just come through and do a big totaling up of what is in there. It's going to be a little bananas because in finishing some of these projects, like the big lemon peel blanket, there were a ton of ball bands in that basket, and I'm very pleased with myself. So the next group of things is my paper products. Like I said, we did 4 6 by 6 pads, 2 12 by 12 pads. I used up 8 sticker sheets, 22 rolls of washi, 1 roll of foam tape, and 13 rolls of ATG, which is, if you don't do paper crafting, that is the double-sided adhesive, dry adhesive that I use the most often. So for the Halloween cards, I actually had originally pulled these 3, and I added in 1 Dead and Breakfast. So this one is from 2020, 2021, 2021. And then Dead and Breakfast is from 2017. Now, I still have 12 by 12s and 6 by 6s of this collection, as well as I think I still have some ephemera and stuff like that from there. So there is that. I also have used up this entire Pink Pizzazz paper pad here. And this one has been in my stash. Well, this one is from 2013. It's probably been in my stash since 2015-ish. And this one is This one's from 2019, although I have it marked as 2018, having been in my stash. This is what I'm using for my Christmas cards. This is from Michael's Recollections. Michael's. So all of these are Michael's 12 by 12 pads, or 8 by 8 or 6 by 6 pads. So there are those. And then left in my basket here, I completed 2 rolls of that self-adhesive ribbon that I really wanted to use. I did count those towards the washi tape goals. We have 1 roll of double-sided foam tape here. And then the rest of these rolls are the ATG, that's the little plastic wheelie gig ones, and washi tape here. So I will actually have more washi tape that I go through as I finish these Christmas cards. I did my first pass at the 5x7s, and those all have their washi tape embellishments on the envelopes in the back of the cards. The A2 size, some have envelope and card decorations, some don't. So I'm kind of in between on those. So I will probably finish up another 1 or 2 this year, just doing that. It is time at the end of this year for me to cover another journal and set up a whole new journal for 2026, 2027. So that will be, I decorate the pages with washi tape. So that'll be another whole group that I'll go through by the end of the year. So I will probably have a 12 by 12 kit that I finish off between now and the end of the year. I'll probably have like another 5 or 6 sticker sheets that I use up. So I'm actually doing way better on the paper goals than I thought I was going to be doing this year. As I said, I haven't done any of the donation items here. So my total FO count, come back up here to the beginning. I have 3 non-yarny FOs. That was the dryer balls, the teal art yarn bat, and the 104 Halloween cards. And so far this year, I have completed 29 projects. So normally I'm able to make, between 50 and 100 projects every year, depending on how many small projects I do, like dishcloths and stuff. This year, because everything has been so big, once again, we have fewer actual finished objects. So I actually have been debating on for the rest of the year, while we're doing these large projects, maybe throwing in some extra tutorials or something and only doing show and tells every other week, because I feel like I'm not bringing a ton of progress to you guys every time I come in. So let me know what you think of that. If you're a regular subscriber, how do you feel about me reducing the project share portion of the channel and only when I have something to really share, talking about it? Other than that, I have mixed feelings about where I am right now. I can see where my year is going and the progress I am making towards me reaching these goals and stuff. But I'm feeling underwhelmed on paper how these present. Like I said, things like the 100 grams of yarn, I knew that was a stretch at the beginning of the year, but I was expecting number 1, to stay on top of my goal of making 8 hat and scarf sets every month. And I didn't do that. Some things happened at the end of last year and the beginning of this year that kind of prevented me from going in and cranking what I had wanted to crank. And so I got behind on that, and there won't be another as much yarn as I can use in a month like we did last year, because I have the Project Christmas goal blanket. So things are just differently organized and differently laid out than I had planned for the year to be. So I do kind of feel like off balance or off kilter a little bit. Although there are certain things where when I like things that disappoint me when I look around my room, you'll know I haven't done a project stash down video all year since the beginning of the year. And that's because literally there's no visual change. There's actually, to some degree, reverse change of what we wanted to see, because I did things like giving ALC its own cube, which meant the empty cube that I had is now full of my ALC yarns, which were in a basket separate from the rest of my stash. So visually, there's actually diminished returns on the goals that I had set out for myself. So it's a little weird. I also was able to, like holes that I had made, I filled in with other things, although, nothing in here is now scrunched up and compressed, because I use so many of these for the projects you've been meaning to make month. I also was able, like, this has gone down significantly, but I had other things that were, hanging out in different spots that I kind of like shifted to put in those places. So visually, there's no change in my room. It actually looks like I have gotten more yarn in here versus there is less yarn present. So, and having to make such large purchases with the yarn to finish off the donation blankets for the scrap gans, as well as what I needed to purchase for the Project Christmas blankets. I don't know. It's kind of worse in here. So hopefully next year, I will once again try to stay accountable for getting these things done. I will have to kind of keep these things in mind, though, as I'm setting up 2026's goals. I'm already kind of future tripping as far as like what do I want to get done next year and what do I want to see changed. So I love you guys. I hope you're having a wonderful, fantastic day. Thank you for stopping by. So if you set up goals for yourself, let me know in the comment section down below where you are on reaching your goals. I love seeing what benchmarks you guys are hitting, where you feel like you're falling on expectation versus reality. Remember, these aren't like hard and fast must do. I'm going to beat myself up if I don't get these done. It's more tracking and measuring. And this year I've had to be very fluid. It's like the years that I've moved and stuff. I can hold myself accountable in doing these check-ins and stuff and looking at what I set up to do and what I did and did not do that year. But life is fluid. I don't control what is outside of myself. So I have to be understanding with myself when things go kind of sideways, like your cat goes off on a walkabout, or you have surgical procedures between you and your husband and family and deaths in the family, and just life's around us. And sometimes we have to participate in that lifing. So, like I said, this isn't a browbeat myself accountability. This is actually kind of fun for me to check in, because I don't do these types of check-ins by myself. I only do these check-ins to check in with you guys, which holds me accountable. So anyway, I love you guys. Let me know where you are in your goals. I look forward to seeing you real soon. Bye, guys.